telling you what, man, this motor, this motor will not die. My dad blessed me with all this. I'm gonna have to ask him. I think it's a 92 or a 91. Look, this motor, it won't die. It's been worked on before, but man, this thing's been, it just won't die. So we're fired up. At least we got the motor running. My trolling motor battery over here, it was struggling last night to charge. I haven't even hooked it up because a lot of these trolling motors have a little drain to them. They're kind of constantly on. I didn't want to risk anything like that. But I will say this, as close as I am to going to be fishing to the ramp, I would honestly be willing to troll with my cranking battery too if I needed some extra juice. You know, if the fish are biting and I run out of battery, I'll switch it, because I could literally jump over here with the trolling motor in about 3 minutes from where I'm going to be fishing. So anyways, she's running. We're good to go. Alright, y'all, that was a quick little jump. Like I told you, if something were to happen, I could always take the trolling motor, back across to the ramp. So the water is stained, which obviously for crappie fishing is great. It doesn't look too trashy. I'm out here on Lake Wiley. It's no secret where I'm at. If you're in the video, you're going to probably figure it out. So no big deal, just out here on the North Carolina side. I got stained water, like I said. I'm about to try to get everything rigged up and, see if we can't put a limit in the boat real quick this morning. So bear with me. Check on some minnows here. I can make a long run now that I made that turn. Make a run all the way to the end to the bridge. So that's a good thing. This is the Sasquatch minnow. Ain't nobody gonna eat him. Ain't no crappie gonna eat him. Gotta get rid of him. No real size to him, but yeah, something. Makes two, but don't make no keepers yet. Still my minnow check. mean, big fish are gonna hit a bigger bait and all, but mostly, generally speaking, they're gonna chase after something a little smaller, something a little more easy to get to. Now, once it's really cold, once it's really cold, it is true that they will expend a big burst of energy once every little while. So, in other words, they might eat one big meal every now and again versus a bunch of small meals like they do during the aggressive season. So they're here. It's just a matter of just getting on, constant adjustments. You know, if you're an kind of OCD like myself, you're gonna adjust stuff that don't need adjusting. There's always gotta be moving something. But the best thing about this, it is just like hunting. You put in all this effort, you tweak all these things. It's really like bow hunting. And you know, you put in a sit, and you might sit for a while. And if you ain't paying attention, you'll miss it. Some of these bites are just like a deer tiptoeing in on you out of nowhere. Some of these bites will be the same way. There we go. Really light bite. Really light bite. Just barely, I mean, you're talking about a tiny little bend on the rod. You know, there's only so much you can do. You just gotta really be paying attention. So, average size. Easy, buddy. Nothing fancy, just average one. We're not gonna keep him. He probably makes 8, but we do. I do a personal 10 just to make sure I'm compliant. And 10's just a good size for eating. Always got to be watching, you know, when you're reeling fish in too, because you could have other fish on. You know, it's just a constant. It's just a dance. You know, pattern on this lake typically 2 guarantees on this lake are your John Deere green. That's your dark and your light green together on the same thing. You know, a little swirl or a little line in between them separating the colors. John Deere green. It's a darker green and a chartreuse, and then anything June bug or black with chartreuse is going to be good on this lake. Fooling me, man. Playing games with me, fooling me. Do that. Definitely do that. For sure. I can see that. Alright. That's why there ain't no crappie. Nasty old catfish. Fighting the wind here, changed everything up. Long line trolling was fine for now, but wasn't putting out good quality fish or anything. Really no numbers either. I caught 4 or 5, you know, in that catfish. So now I'm sitting here. I just started pitching some of these docks. You know, thing about shooting docks, it can work year round for sure. I'm fighting the wind right now. I like to find slack water with a shade line. And you can see that shade line behind me. I want to find a line like that in these docks. There's little pockets of shade and stuff. So I've got this camera angle on me right now. I want to show you. This is what I'm using. This is Tuxedo Black by Mr. Crappie. This is a good color on this lake, Tuxedo Black, and I'll cast it to the little patches of sunlight down in between these docks, and just experiment with my retrieve, different speeds. You know, let it fall, count it down a little bit, or take this thing right here, bend that rod. See that rod right there? And I'm just gonna shoot it in there. You know, and I'm shooting into little places like that over there. So, some of them I'll shoot into, some of them I'll cast into, some of them I'll shoot into the, if I can keep out of the wind, I'll sit real still and shoot under the pontoons. In between a pontoon boat and an outboard motor can be a crappie magnet. There we go, right there. Right off the wrong species, but right off the pontoon boat. You see these wide opens here? Try to go right in that pocket there. That was a good pitch right there. Wait a few seconds. You can even watch the high vis line and see it bounce sometimes and set the hook on there. I missed him. Could have been brim. I don't know. That was pretty shallow. It was a little more of a light tap, but definitely could have been brim, or could have been, I don't know, that's pretty good. Pretty good little hit. Could have been bass, could have been a crappie, I don't know. I'm going to try experimenting with a much slower retrieve. See if that's part of it. See if they're just looking for something much slower. I'm going to really try to thread the needle on this shot right here. Between that ladder. There he is. My thing was acting up, but he's still on there. That's what we're talking about. That was a slower retrieve, and the placement of that shot was pretty good. It took me a minute. So, average, no big size, but he ain't the only one in there. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll work the shade line. Put that crossbow right there. They really like those shade lines. He may have been more in relation to that shade line. There you go, right there. Right there on that shade line, look at there. See that? Right there on that shade line. So he may not have been relating to that boat as much as he was relating to that shade line. So again, it's just another average size fish, but I mean, if I could just hold steady, if this wind would stop messing with me, I could really lock in. It is a little shallow here, but I still just feel like if I do it just right, I could get him. There we go, right there. Yep, I don't know what he is. He's kind of rough, probably a bass, but yeah, a little buck bass. But I mean, that's cool, you know. I mean, you know, catching some bass. So I've caught today. Today I've caught crappie, catfish, and bass. So that's pretty cool. Let's just think about it this way. You know, It's September, and I killed a deer early, which is awesome. And I mean, I can't complain with the fact, okay, I got a warm front. I made the choice not to go hunting. Could have went hunting. I made the choice not to go hunting with this warm front. I came out here, a long line trolled with all kinds of mechanical issues, caught fish. Came out here, I'm shooting dogs in the wind, catching fish. Caught 3 species of fish. I mean, you know, you talk about counting blessings. I ain't caught no massive fish, but at the same time, having a good time. I'm gonna work this shade line here. This looks awesome. Right by this building. I don't know if you saw where that thing just hit. Man, that was a cast. That's the kind of cast I want. I'd really like to see if I can cut in here. There we go. I felt the nibble, boy. I felt the nibble. That's a crappie for sure. It's just a slight. It's a slight nibble. Yeah. So that was cool. That was a good hook set and everything. I like that. I'd like trolling motor battery's getting low for sure. So. Hey y'all, what's up? Real quick, I just wanted to show you. I didn't really get a chance during that video to give a good close-up. I just want to show you real quick. All right, this right here, put that right in front of the camera. It's a John Deere green Charlie Brewer slider. This is what you need on that lake that I was just fishing. That method I was just fishing, especially that long line trolling, but anything you're doing on that lake. John Deere green Charlie Brewer slider. But that's not all. Also, you can use John Deere green in the form of a curly tail, any generic brand. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me find a better one. This one's really got the line. You see that dividing line where that color, you know, you've got that, there's that dark on top, that light on the bottom, that curly tail. That's that John Deere green. Ambulance going by. This is dynamite. Also, that tuxedo black. This is what I was shooting docks with right here. This right here is awesome bait to use because this tail is huge. You can reel that thing so slow and get a lot of action. That's something I love. And if you see the difference, again, I'm not partial to. I'll take a slider, a Charlie Brewer, or a tuxedo, you know, or a Mr. Crappie. Either way, Mr. Crappie's here, Charlie Brewer's here. You just see the difference. The body length of the Charlie Brewer slider is much longer, but the overall length of the lure of the bait is shorter. The Mr. Crappie is much shorter body, but a much longer tail, and the tails themselves are a little different too. But you see, they both have so much play, so much play. Other colors, you know, you can obviously go with, or you know, your solid chartreuse, something like that. This is what I'm calling, okay, I'm not really calling this June bug per se, but here, this right here, this is black and blue with a chartreuse tail. This right here comes from Mr. Crappie. I can't remember the name of this thing. It's a blue sparkle, anything dark, dark blue, dark purple, dark black with a chartreuse tail and some sparkle. It's going to be awesome on this lake. Typical 16th ounce jig heads. I will say this, I don't have any with me right now. Orange or pink are dynamite on this lake. But really, I was just using 16th ounce, you know, especially for shooting this time of year. Again, just get out there and try it. Be willing to change up things and, you know, do your best and experiment and get out there and catch them.